How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here, and in this video, we're going to be doing an overall market update, taking a look at the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq. We're also going to be doing a trading update, talking about what I personally did today in the markets, as well as some stocks and ETFs that I'm watching and looking to trade right now in the month of December, actually wrapping up this month of December, heading into this new year here in January of 2020. And just letting you guys know, I'm actually recording this video extremely early in the day today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, so the technical analysis is going to be based on the price action so far. So if anything changes in these next couple of hours, obviously we'll discuss that in tomorrow's video, but today I'm actually going to Atlantic City, which is why I have to film this video a bit early, and I always want to get that content out to you guys. So if you enjoy the video, feel free to go down below and hit that like button and consider subscribing if you want to see further content from me, and if you want to be further connected with the Strive Smart community. You guys know the Discord is linked down below, as well as the Facebook group. If you haven't gotten in there quite yet, go in there, join. It's 100% free of charge. So let's break down the S&P very quickly here. We'll go to the Dow, the Nasdaq. We'll talk about some buys I made today, because today was actually a day that I was buying a bit more than these past couple of weeks in terms of individual stocks. So we'll talk about that. So let's go here to the S&P, and based on the hourly chart, you guys can see we hit yet again an all-time high at 3235.46. And you guys remember in yesterday's video, we saw the futures, the S&P, the E-mini S&P / ES right here. This thing was climbing up. Do you guys remember that? It actually gapped up a very tiny bit, and it continued to climb up pretty much throughout the night. So that little gap up, that push that we saw in the futures market, that ended up pushing over into the market open this morning, and really just pushing more green and hitting us, or getting us to hit that all-time high. So pretty much on this hourly chart, this just proved to be a short-term plateau, short-term resistance before continuing the uptrend. So at this point, we hit a higher high, and honestly, I don't know what's going to happen from here. Nobody knows what's going to happen from here, but what could happen is we may see maybe another push up, and then similar consolidation, right, to what we saw in these previous patterns before potentially pulling back down, retracing, and then maybe meeting that 50 SMA like we did before continuing the uptrend. That's something that might happen here, so keep an eye out for potential consolidation, maybe a couple of days of consolidation after we hit another all-time high. We'll see what happens, right? But those are just some thoughts here on the S&P. On the 4-hour, you guys can see how overbought we are. We obviously popped above that EMA. You guys can see RSI's very overbought, so we'll see what happens in terms of those indicators. If we pull up the Dow right here, this is currently up 0.25%, not as good as the S&P, which is up 0.33%, but the Dow is up around 70 points, and it did not hit an all-time high today. It did not hit an all-time high today. We can see the all-time high was about 3-4 days ago at around 28,608. But again, I'm recording this video early in the day, so who knows? Maybe in these next 4 or 5 hours, the Dow does hit an all-time high. I think it's quite likely, because it's around like 20 points away, so it most likely will hit an all-time high. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you probably know what ended up happening, since you'll be watching this after the market closes. So the Dow is looking bullish. Nice pop-up this morning. All of these time frames pretty much are pointing to more upside here. If we pull up the Nasdaq, this is currently up the most, up 0.5%. That means, I guess, tech stocks are doing well. And if we do look down here at the tech stocks, I know my head's right there, my face is right there, but you can see Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, literally all of those are green right now. So this is really contributing to the Nasdaq being up that juicy 0.5%, up 43 points right here, and it hit an all-time high at $8,776.75. So that's a good sign. It proved to be a little plateau, a little bit of a support, some consolidation right here over these past couple of days from the 20th up to pretty much Christmas, which was yesterday, so the 5-day period. And you guys can see the breakup from there. We broke resistances, so that is extremely bullish. in my opinion, for the Nasdaq. But then again, like these indexes are, all of them, this is overbought on the 4-hour chart. Very overbought at that, right? Very overextended. I think, we might continue pushing up in the short term, but ultimately, if we see some sort of correction here in these next couple of months, like I've been mentioning in these videos, I think this 180 SMA would be a healthy spot for the Nasdaq to go to, being this gold line here on the 4-hour chart, and that would be simply a 3-4% correction, which at the end of the day, guys, is peanuts, because if you remember, a year ago, we actually had a correction in these markets that was 20%, a 20% drop. And if you guys remember on this channel, we talked a lot about that last year. So big drop here, 20%. So at the end of the day, a 3%, 4 or 5% pull down on the Nasdaq. It's nothing to fear. It's nothing to freak out about. It's just a really healthy thing at the end of the day. So that's kind of the overall market rundown up to this point, about 2 hours into the session. Again, a lot of things can change. Let me know if anything did change. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on these markets in general, individual stocks, all of that good stuff. Now, let's talk about some, positions that I bought into today and some stocks that I added to, right, that I'm already swinging. So one that I added to that I was not already swinging is Facebook. And Facebook, we talked about in yesterday's video, being a very good trade in my opinion from around 205 up to those all-time highs being at around $218, which was over a year ago at this point, if you guys can see, right? Back before, I believe, the Cambridge Analytica scandal, this thing went from 218 down to 120, but that is the all-time high. So from 205 up to that level, that's where I'm looking to capitalize on this trade. That is around a 5-6% potential for profit, right? So this morning we got a bullish move that I really liked, and that pretty much is on this 5-day 5-minute. You can see it, the fact that we broke above moving average resistances, being the 180 and the 50 SMA. We pulled down, we held those levels as supports, and we pretty much broke out from there. And that's where I actually built a little position at around, I believe, like 206.30, I believe I started buying in. And this is one, again, that I'm looking to hold to about 215, 210, 212 at least, and definitely get out probably at around 215. And I'm looking to scale in more and more as it continues the push up here. And that's just how I mitigate risk and really just how I conserve capital in terms of swing trading. So that's one that I ended up buying today, fresh, new position. One that I ended up adding more to is Home Depot that I talked about in the Discord chat. And if you guys are not in there, again, that is linked down below, 100% free of charge. But I actually ended up getting in a bit early this morning. You can see on this 5-day 5-minute, we actually got a nice bullish push this morning on Home Depot. We ended up for momentarily breaking above 220, holding it as a new support, and this is where I actually got in. I jumped the bullet a little bit, or the gun a little bit on this entry. We didn't fully hold it and pop up quite yet. Actually, no, this was 24th. No, I'm looking at the wrong price action here, guys. This was good price action that I was looking at for the entry, actually, but for a second I thought this was today. This is not today. This is today. So we actually held this morning and we started to pop up, and this is actually where I did end up buying more at around 220. So either way, it was at around 220. I just mixed up these charts here a bit because you can see this is where the cutoff was on the 24th because we ended up closing at around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard in terms of the market. So this is when I ended up getting in 220, and since I got in, guys, it ended up dumping, but that's okay because I already had a cushion built in. If you guys remember, my average cost is around 217 right now, 218 on Home Depot, and after I bought this, it's probably solidifying itself more in around the 218 level. So I'm still up on the position, but the initial, or rather that recent stake I just bought about an hour and a half ago, that one's down a bit, but it's okay because this is a longer term swing that I'm looking to hold to around 225 at least, and then from there there's even more potential up to around $240. Another one that I bought a little bit more in today is Uber, guys, and Uber, If we pull it up, you can see, it hasn't broken quite yet, 31, which is where, I want to add the bulk of my position, but I still ended up adding more today. And let me be honest, with this Uber position, I've added a couple of stakes here, like 3 or 4 times I've bought in, but I'm not buying in as heavy as my normal swing trade position, if that makes sense. So these 4 different stakes, they're not really big, for in terms of my perspective, my account size, right? They're a bit smaller, but I feel like, scaling in very slowly. That's kind of the strategy I'm using right here with smaller position sizes. And really, like I said, I'm waiting to put a bulk position size in above $31, right? So once we get above there, 31, I'm looking to swing it up to about $33, like I've been mentioning in these videos. And even from that break above 33, there's a lot more potential in Uber, guys. Really, in my opinion, the past, all the bad, the drama, not really the drama, right? But all the bad news is in the past, in my opinion. What happened recently with a shareholder ended up getting out of a massive position, right? So a lot of these people are getting out, the beginning shareholders after the lockup, which was around a couple weeks ago. So, I feel like there's more upside now because of that. A lot of people are getting out, new money's coming in, and I just see potential, guys. I mean, I'm being honest, right? So that is what I did today. Bought a little bit of Uber. I'm looking down here, guys, because I do have some notes. Bought a little bit of Uber, bought a little bit more of Home Depot. The Facebook position, almost pulled the trigger on NEO. We'll talk about NEO right now. Why not? Because NEO saw a pull down today even further of around 13 cents, down 5%. I've been getting some questions about it like, oh my God, NEO selling off, NEO selling off. But the truth is, guys, this is a healthy pull down. If we pull up this 90-day 2-hour chart, you can see how healthy of a pull down it really is. We ran from 218 to about 270 in the matter of literally 2 weeks, guys. So that got very heated, right? Very heated, very overbought, and this was really in need to happen, in my opinion. And now we're holding this 180 SMA. We're holding this overall trend line, which is what I want to see, honestly, before entering a swing position in here, which is why I said I almost pulled the trigger here, because if we end up popping and maybe holding 245, maybe getting into 250, that could be a spot worth watching for a swing on NEO back up to 275 and maybe even higher. Like I've mentioned in previous videos, I think NEO can get to $3 here in the matter of the next couple of months, maybe even weeks if it really heats up. So NEO, don't panic. In my opinion, this is strictly a pull down. Where you should panic is if it started to break down into the 220s and into the 2 teens. If it got anywhere in this area, even back into the $1 range, that's where I'd be kind of iffy, right? And a lot of the profit taking here could be because earnings are coming up. Maybe people are locking in before earnings. Traders out there that are nervous, maybe earnings won't be that great, they're just locking in profits to keep it safe. And that's honestly a catalyst that could end up shooting NEO up through the roof. It's the 26th today, and 4 days is when this earnings come out. This earnings report does come out. So keep an eye on that, and I'll definitely make a video covering their earnings more in depth after the report actually comes out. So that's NEO there. A couple other ones that I'm watching, Roku being one of them. We're in this wedge, as you guys can see on the 6-month chart. We're making lower lows at the same time that we're making, or not lower lows, lower highs at the same time that we're making higher lows, right? So now we're looking to see which direction are we picking. Are we breaking above this point, which would be bullish, or are we breaking below, which would be bearish? And once we get that price action, from there we can either pick going long or going short. That's kind of how I'm playing this. I'd personally wait until a break at least into the 150s before scaling in, potentially or preferably into the 160s, right? So Roku, I'm liking this one. If it breaks up, if it breaks down, it could be a potential short, but we'll cover it here in the next couple of days once it does pick that direction. So let's talk about Shopify. before we talk about UGAZ, natural gas, and end off the video. So Shopify here, ticker symbol SHOP. This one hit an all-time high today, guys, at around 416.6. Absolutely crazy day here for Shopify. Up $10 right now with another 5.5 hours left. No, about 4.5 hours left in the market, so there's a lot more potential for upside, up around almost 2.5% here. So the fact that we hit this all-time high, which was at around, the previous one was at around 409. We hit that and we broke it. Now I'm looking to see, are we going to hold 409 as a support? And it seems like the price action right now is looking to do that. We hit the all-time high. Now we're testing right around 409, as you guys can see. And if I pull this out a little bit, let's say we pull up this drawing tool, you can see just where it's holding the support, exactly at that old all-time high. So watch and see if it holds that level. I think if it does, I've seen analysts price targets, and again, guys, don't rely on these analysts all the time, but sometimes, or don't rely on them fully is what I'm saying. You can look at their opinions and be like, okay, but then use other sources, use your own analysis techniques and whatever to make your decisions. But some analysts, they've been saying 440 for Shopify, 450. So if that happens, there's a ton more potential here, from that perspective, right? From about 409 to about 450. But then again, guys, these analysts, they get it wrong a lot of the time, right? They get it wrong a lot of the time, so you can't count on them strictly, but take their opinion with a grain of salt, right? So that's Shopify, ticker symbol SHOP, and UGAZ seems to be doing exactly what we talked about in yesterday's video. It's up 10% right here, one of the best days in recent memory that UGAZ is having, up about 7 points here, and again, they went through a reverse split, which is why you see this massive gap up. Side story, side tangent, when I was a beginner, guys, years ago, this was about like 6 years ago, very funny thing. I was in one of these leveraged ETFs, ETNs, I forget what it was, to be honest, and it went through a reverse split. And sometimes when these go through reverse splits, it kind of lags and it shows your stocks up like 15,000% or something crazy like 1,000%, and I was like, holy crap. I opened my account, it was up 1,000% and it went through a reverse split. I didn't know what that was at the time, and I was like, wow, I'm up 1,000%. But then a couple hours later I was like, no, I'm not. That was just a reverse split. I read into it, learned about it, but that was funny. That was kind of like my first experience. I'm sure a bunch of people felt that with this, because I actually saw it lagged on Yahoo Finance. It said it was up thousands of percent. I'm sure some people saw it and they were like, holy crap, what's going on? Comment down below if you were one of those people. So side tangent there, but UGAZ is doing what we expected, and what we expected is on NGF 20 here as we pull it up. We sold off aggressively, we hit a lower low, and every time we've done that, every time we've got oversold, we've recovered, we've pushed back up to that 50 SMA, which is literally the pattern we just completed. This thing's up 10 cents today, up 5%, and we called this exact move out yesterday. I personally did not catch it. Let me know if you guys did, but it came to fruition. Now, what is it going to do from here? Are we going to break that 50 SMA? That's what I'm watching for, because this is opening up two different opportunities. If we get rejected by this 50 SMA like we have over the past couple of weeks, DGAZ is a very good play right here on the dip. It offers around at least 10% potential back up to 180, and let's say natural gas gets clobbered even further, hits a lower low, we can maybe go to $200 per share here on DGAZ yet again. So that's kind of what I'm watching. If we go back to NGF 20, the other scenario could be maybe we pop up. Maybe we finally see the beginning of a little rally here in natural gas. I'm sure the report will be a catalyst, the natural gas inventory report, which does come out, I believe, on, what day is it? The 27th, tomorrow. So we'll be watching that. Maybe the 180 SMA could be a move to the upside to about 242 for natural gas of around 6-7%. And from there, maybe UGAZ could see some more push. But until then, I'm not going to be leaning to UGAZ. I need to see that break first. I'm still leaning towards DGAZ because of the typical pattern that natural gas has been going through, getting rejected by that 50 SMA here and dumping down from there. So overall, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to go down below and hit that like button and consider subscribing if you want to see further content from me. And don't forget, I have an affiliate link down below where if you sign up and deposit $100 using that link, you get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 on Webull, which is insane. So go down below, take advantage of that. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Peace out.